Go to game number 4.
Thank you very much, T-Gun, and we are straight into the draft here for game number 4. Both of the coaches in the coaches' interviews said it was going to be a 3-2.
I wanted to say that I think even though, you know, we mentioned like we thought Gen.G would bounce back, like we thought Canyon and Chovy would bounce back, I still kind of feel like they can. I still want to believe, Atlas, that this can go to 5. I still want to trust that this team that's been dominant all year long can get back on the horse here, but there's no evidence yet. You know, game 1, we saw the amazing turnaround. They had the late game win con with Ruler. I think we're going to need to see another draft like that, something like a Zeri to come through, some sort of scaling pick for Ruler. They could set up a front line for. The early game is just not Gen.G's today.
Nope. I want to see some more cohesiveness in the team fighting drafting as well, and maybe give Canyon something that can scale up in the jungle or something like that instead, because the early game has not been where he's been able to make some impact. Basically, what we need to see from Gen.G is what we saw prior to the playoffs and not what we've seen since. That would be very good. So then we've got a competitive series on our hands, because right now it does look a little bit like T1 has just kind of 3-0'd Gen.G and are now sticking around for another game, is what it kind of looks like. And one of the biggest things for me is the GOAT. Faker,
pick Sylas?
First pick Sylas, okay.
I mean, it's a flex pick.
I wanted to talk about Faker playing really well, but now we've got a Sylas first pick.
Well, they banned Maokai, and I don't think we'll be seeing Gnar. Pretty face up here from T1.
I mean, it is a flex.
Pick. Yeah, it's a very flexible pick, like I said, like you just mentioned, but interesting. So what the response is going to be, because you don't get counterpick for it, because you don't know where it's going. They're just going to go for a safe blind top lane Cassante here. The Keen Sante has always been a staple.
Okay, this is something that we have had faith in the past, but isn't representing a lot of damage just yet for Gen.G.
Still think that it leads itself towards a scaling 80 carry pick, if that's what they want to go for here. Not that you slam lock the Smolder now, but you certainly are thinking about what that scaling is going to look like. A lot of discussion here on the Gen.G side. I think very thrown off by this first pick Sylas, as we all are.
Like, Sylas does make things really difficult.
That's the opposite of what we thought we might see.
Yeah, so that is just Kalista locked in. And now T1 can pick away the Renata if they would like to.
They certainly can. They will.
Yeah.
I mean,
why not?
It's also, Renata's really good into Sylas, so this feels like a really good response here. The question is what comes with it. They don't need to fight fire with fire and go for like a Draven Renata lane or anything like that, although we have seen teams do that in the past.
Yeah, could be fun.
They could like try to Lucian here, but you're playing into the Cassante. This is an old favorite of Guma's. It's not very meta right now, but I think works incredibly well with Renata. Outranges the Kalista. And this is a great setup here for T1 so far.
A very scary lane. Let's see what they are going to lock away for Duro. I expect his pick to come in now.
Certainly he's not going to be playing a Pyke or anything, you know, like that, right?
Oh, that'd be fun. I kind of want them to, like, I want them to go with something that's actually interesting, something that's a bit fun, as Blitzcrank is going to come on through. This is one of his best champions.
I mean, I think, what else do you play here? Like, Leona is banned, Alistar is banned, Nico is banned. Like, you can't, there's not a whole lot for this Kalista lane. This is, like, to go for this greedy of a bottom 2v2, sure, it can work out, but it's so greedy. There's, like, way less longevity than a lot of other picks they could have gone for in Game 4 where your back's against the wall. Is brave from Gen.G to say the least, but they have confidence in this, and that's what kind of makes me want to believe that maybe it could work, Atlas.
Well, let's see whether it does. I think, like, T1 are probably concerned about some sort of Yone type situation. I think that having a bit of extra damage out from Chovy is going to be an important one. Canyon can then play something like a Lilia, do a bit of that magic damage himself. Maybe his famous Nidalee comes out to try and get that mojo back. I don't know whether it's necessarily a great pick in this instance, but the Ornn is going to be banned away first up against Doran, and it just feels like even in the draft right now, T1 has all the tempo vibes.
Exactly. Victor is banned. We could even see like an Aurelion Soul ban, as Chovy is not looking comfortable right now because he knows he has to do something in this draft that does consistent late game damage, because the Kalista can if you're ahead constantly, but you need another win con, you need another consistent threat in this draft. Blitzcrank hooks can instantly win you the game, but that's reliant on map control, it's reliant on that or a mistake from T1. as they're just protecting this top lane pick right now so far because they don't know where the Sylas is going. That's another problem that they can't get solved. So it might just be this red side draft is Chovy gets counter pick once they know where the Sylas is going.
Well, the Nidalee is going to be taken away here. We're having a look at Canyon. We'll see whether it is going to be a jungle pick locked away. And then we'll find out whether it's going to be Faker playing the Sylas or whether that is going over to Owner.
Man, you can see the Gen.G players are not looking comfortable about this situation. I wonder if there's no way he just pulls out the Lee Sin here and says, well, we're going to send it on this draft. Skarner makes a lot more sense, but it is a big ultimate to steal away.
Oh, man. Chovy's going to need so much damage.
It's a Aurelion Soul, it's got to be, right? Like, what else could he play here?
Karthus. I don't know. Something that just does all... If it's a Twisted Fate, we may as well just give T1 the trophy, you know? Is what I'm kind of thinking. As it looks like Faker will be playing that Sylas in the mid lane. Ooh, never mind. Twisted Fate.
Bit of a pivot here.
Yeah. Let's see whether this one is going to be locked in as Owner is grinning as the Rek'Sai consideration. That's likely to go over to Doran as we saw Zeus playing that one yesterday.
The funny thing is all of these flip-throughs that they've done, all the hovers are all viable. Like there's so many options here for T1. Like they have so many cards they could pull out here in this draft. The Rek'Sai comes through, strong lane into the Cassante. Saw Zeus play this. It wasn't the most impactful pick, but it has been spammed by every top laner right now around the world. Find out what's coming.
Kassadin.
Oh, Kassadin.
No, surely not. You don't blind Kassadin. That's insanity. But maybe Chovy picks Kassadin. It has been picked into TF in the past, and he is going to hover it here. Let's see whether it is going to be the decision made.
It suits the Kalista part of this draft.
Does give them some late game insurance.
But it basically means we're losing the early game in the mid lane, and the top side gets a little bit wonky.
There is not a lot of being able to skirmish against T1 in the early stages of the game. It is a very difficult one. As Cassiopeia going to give them a little bit more power earlier on.
I kind of like the Cassiopeia. It's all in on their draft identity of low-range brawly, but when you're looking at the draft here from T1, sure, the Varus has a lot of range, but you can just simply overwhelm him with all the frontline you have. Even if you catch, you know, the Rek'Sai or a Sylas with the Blitzcrank hook, you have all that low-range damage. You just delete that target so quickly, and then you just overwhelm the rest of T1. Because we were looking otherwise like the Kassadin, but it feels so risky in the early game. The Aurelion Soul I mentioned is really not going to give you a lot of team fighting power until much later on in the game, whereas this Cassiopeia can kind of be stable, and then you can get to the later parts. Don't get me wrong, I still think T1 end up with a much stronger draft here, but Cassiopeia, this is one of those angles I really like it for because it works well with the draft so cohesively.
Yeah, it
the
does.
Varus is like not just going to win by default because it shoots far.
Yeah, that is very true, and I think that Ruler and Duro can certainly get some things done in that bottom lane, although it will be a little bit difficult up against double ranged and a whole lot of poke. One of the important things is just recognizing how smart it was to go for this first pick Sylas. Holding onto the flex for the entirety of the draft at the same time, because Faker is, of course, like he just got a legendary skin on the champion. We know that he's pretty good at playing the Sylas, but it's largely been a jungler in more recent memory. Just kind of a masterstroke here by T1 as we get onto the Rift here for game number 4. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for what could be the final game of this series, T1 versus Gen.G. A trip to the Inspire Arena on the line, as well as avoiding the play-ins best of 5 against the LPL 4th seed. It's just kind of ridiculous. It still kind of blows my mind that we have Gen.G and T1 fighting to keep themselves alive here in the LCK playoffs, and one of them will be, it's either the defending world champs or the defending MSI champs are going to be the 4th seed for the LCK.
It is wild, right? Like, you know, all those stats that Degon read out on the space. Yeah. For the dominance we've seen from Gen.G, the fact that they've always been a top team in the LCK for the last several years, and you know they're at the lower bracket early, and now down match point against them, against T1, who they consistently beat.
Going for a bit of the Hanwha tech
Hanwha life. It's Kalista solo. I thought about this when we saw the Kalista initially, that we could see some sort of weird flex with it. And it is going to really help alleviate the lane issues that they have.
Ooh.
And also, yeah, if you hit a hook here on either of these targets, this goes really well in the 2v2 here for Gen.G.
So that they can actually make something happen here. This is, of course, going to really hinge on Ruler having all of the control in this top lane, because K'Sante Blitzcrank isn't really a bottom lane. So that is not necessarily going to be winning into double range, especially.
Yeah, if you don't hit hooks, you do literally nothing, but you can just kind of catch the waves and play it as if it's an old school lane swap, just with a little bit of a friend hanging out for a little while.
Although the best thing about Rek'Sai is, you know, like if things do get tough, you can just literally bury your head in the sand.
Yeah.
And hope that it goes away. I think that's fantastic.
That's what ostriches do, apparently. Apparently it's not true, by the way, that saying about ostriches. They don't really do that.
Really?
That's what I searched that recently. It was just like a myth or something.
I mean,
I use that like phrase a lot, you know. And
no, looking for an angle, is going to get the flash out of Chovy. Already a successful gank from the guy that's been all over the Rift in the early game. To be expected in this particular matchup, as of course the Skarner isn't going to be doing a whole lot, but just staying true to form right now is Ona.
So, one thing I want to point out in this this series, obviously Faker's had a phenomenal performance despite, you know, the game 1 error. As this is Chovy's 65th unique pick in the LCK.
Wow, he hasn't played Cassio. That's kind of nuts.
It's because he's a knower.
Huh. He has played a lot of, like, I don't know. Okay, the hook going to connect, but the knock-up,
it did.
yeah, the knock-up is going to land. I guess Rek'Sai just a little bit larger of a model than we expected.
Yeah, that was a very weird one there in terms of what we saw on our side, but not going to matter too much. But going back to what I was saying about Faker, he has been so flexible this playoffs. In the past, we were like, oh, they have to ban Victor because Faker's champion pool is so small. But okay, we're never going to talk about it because Doran's once again the target.
Yeah, Canyon going to look to see if he can throw a rock at him as Doran is just traveling through all of these tunnels. At the same time, Keria looking a little worse for wear as T1 looking to take down the K'Sante, and that is going to be first blood over to Ona, and he should be able to survive. In the meantime, trying to get back through yet another tunnel, and Doran is just making them look silly, getting so much of the health back as well as he tunnels underground. Another tunnel going to be used. Man, he's like a kid playing on an elevator as finally he gets slammed into the wall and taken down, but he's claimed so many flashes and made them look silly.
Yeah, he made them look silly, but ultimately it still is a kill there over to Gen.G. Kill goes over to the Skarner, unfortunately, as Chovy should be fine here.
Ganked by a chain lash.
Yeah.
It is going to be all right for the moment, as Faker is constantly getting poisoned and twin-fanged, which is looking a little frustrating, but nothing really happening here, and is still just making bank because he's TF. Let's have a look at this dive towards the bottom side, and then we can go and have a look towards what the heck happened in the top lane.
Keria pulls this aggro. Keen goes incredibly low. They look for the follow-up here. Again, Keen trying to get to the other part of this turret. Owner's just so tanky. Then over here, like, so much has to go well for Gen.G in order to get this gank to succeed. Doran flashes to the upper part of his tunnel. It doesn't even need to take it here initially.
And then borrows to get the health.
Yep, and then he, like, it's Canyon who ends up getting the kill here, actually, not Ruler, as just had too much damage there as he pushed him against the wall. Just wanted to maximize it because they need to kill this Rek'Sai, but the fact that that kill goes over to the Skarner versus a Silas picking it up on the other side, definitely not equivalent here. T1 picks up the first blood. Gen.G gets something back, and still not as good.
It is going to mean that, you know, Doran's life is still going to be difficult as he does move back towards his top lane once again. Hook going to go wide. As Doran just wanting to stay in experience range if he can.
Dragon under control of T1 on the bottom side of the map with his Varus push into the lane-swapped K'Sante. Definitely exactly what T1 wants right now, and we'll be able to get this.
Oh, and Canyon going for the full wraparound here. As Doran, let's see whether he can survive this as the tunnel comes on through. Duro still looking for the hook and manages to get him yet again. But I just don't know whether it's quite going to be enough because he gets underneath the turret. Will the Ren stacks come through? And yes, they will. Duro survives. And it's a second kill on to Doran in that top lane. In the meantime, though, the Dragon does go over to T1 and the K'Sante is once again under threat.
I mean, he is is Cassante. He does have level 6 now. I don't think they will be able to kill him, but they get the dragon, which is a big prize. And will be at the cost of Doran, who almost gets out, almost outplays it again. So ends up being a big win there, because this time the kill goes over to the Kalista. This time Ruler gets his prize in the top side of the map. It's a play from Canyon here. And Doran, look at the setup of his tunnels. He's like, I think I can be fine. I think I can get up here. The wave state is so bad for him. They have to set up these tunnels, and then this time the placement of the hook is correct. Doran ends up getting caught. Ruler goes under turret here to get the rend and the kill.
Yep, and Blitzcrank into Rek'Sai kind of feels all right, because he always does. Like, when she travels through a tunnel, she is going to be in a predictable location. Duro is utilizing that incredibly effectively, though, have to say.
Low econ top laners.
Yes.
And Cassante may be 1-8, but he's one of the better low eco top laners. And it's Keen. When he's low economy, he pops off.
Yeah, he is the counterpoint, the 75.6% win rate, as Faker is running away from the snake once again. That is something you don't blame humans for doing that. We are programmed to run away from snakes. That's how that works, because when we were monkeys, we were scared of snakes as well.
Not even like cats. You know, you put a cucumber behind a cat.
Oh, yeah, true.
Jump.
Yep. That's where all those funny cat videos come from.
Yeah.
Weird cucumber situation.
So the game state here is pretty even between these two teams. But for Gen.G, at least the Kalista has a kill now. That's where you really need to start getting online for this draft to work. The Cassiopeia can scale into a big damage threat later on, especially with this composition, as Chovy may get caught.
Yeah, Destiny does come in. Miasma is down. Good position there, as well as Faker is just going to get picked up and taken down, but it is a counter ult here from Ona. Still the Fate's call to keep Duro safe. The flash over from Chovy. There's that killer instinct we've been looking for, and it's 2 on the floor for T1. Gen.G looking for even more as the blast cone from Canyon picks up a rock, and Carrier finds himself in a very awkward spot. Ruler able to find it, and that is another hook landing here from Duro. Ruler just lets Carrier melt as that bailout does not work. A really great start here for Gen.G this time.
It looked initially like it's another confident Faker call. He's going to look for the gold card play. He's going to look for the catch, but they had so many tools to turn it around. Owner's counter ult was actually almost enough to save it, but not quite there in the end. The Fate's call comes through, so watch this again. Looks like Chovy is going to get caught, but they're right on top of a Skarner here. And look at this. Stun comes through first from the Gaze, then he gets the Impale to get the kill. Owner wants to go in, but the timing of the Fate's call is phenomenal. Then Owner misses the chains here. Chovy guns him down, and then it's so easy to chase with his composition because you've got Skarner, you get Carrier's flash, but he's still not getting away. He's gonna get hooked here in the end by Duro, has to flash to follow. They get an additional kill here over to Ruler. And this is Gen.G winning the early game as his comp wants to do. And now this Kalista is starting to get really, really strong. Very relevant for this mid game. Yeah, and maybe we'll see one of the Kalista games where she does look really powerful. I think we did have one of them, like the first time she was picked up again. I believe it was a Kalista Renata lane, and it was Kellen and Diablo. Kellen, of course, one of the greatest Renata players that we have here in the LCK, and Diablo is a prodigy. So that one worked out really well. We since didn't see it find as much success and was kind of left alone. This is not even that, right? The Renata was picked away, and so we'll just have to see whether Ruler can find the same level of success, as the flash does have to be used here by Gumayusi, who has gone lethal tempo. Yeah, he's going for lethal tempo. Varus here. I think with the low range comp you're into, you just want to be able to get through these tanky frontliners, the Cassante and the Skarner. It does make sense because Lethality isn't going to get you much into those targets, and if you're trying to hit a Cassiopeia, you're going to have to follow up with damage that they don't necessarily have, as Owner is here. There's the all-out. King going to use that to try and actually go all-out as he dashes, flashes, and is able to make a lot of distance. Doran finds himself in an awkward spot as he does ult him, but that is going to be Keen using everything in order to survive. Chovy trying to get a plate here, knowing that the Silas is nearby, is greeting for it. Yep, we'll be able to pick it up. He has a control ward in the top river entrance, so knows that he was fine to go for those last few autos and pick that one up. Doesn't quite have his flash available, so it's a bit of a scary one. It's the hook gonna connect, Duro! Oh man, this young player playing very well, but it's a great handshake here from Carrier, just not enough to deal with the Impale, and this Renata pick away is being punished. These Gen.G Blitzcrank players, whether it's Duro this year or last year, man.
It must be the organization, man.
Yeah.
Tigers must really like robots.
I mean,
is that a thing?
The Blitzcrank color scheme kind of fits Gen.G's colors, you know?
Hey, there we go.
A little golden tint to it. This game state is looking worse every moment here for T1 as this is just a really nice angle here from Duro through the wall.
Yeah. And the ward doesn't even quite work out, I don't think, as I think Carrier was trying to get that one over the wall, but got jump scared.
As end up trying to bail himself out, but obviously will die. And yeah, this is a 3-kill Kalista.
Yep, and it's also a 100% kill contribution Canyon.
Yeah.
He exists in this game.
I was going to mention it earlier, but Canyon has had, like, he was the last Skarner. When Skarner fell off, he was like, no, I still play that.
He's the only one with the Skarner card.
Exactly. He's the only one who has it. And, you know, normally it was picked into Xinjiao, picked into Silas in this game. And it's working very well for him so far. He is basically making it so he can set up these hooks in a lot of these skirmishes. And obviously the Impale play we saw on Faker's attempted gold card pick onto Chovy earlier was phenomenal. Even though they're playing into the Silas is going to get the access to Impale as well. It has not mattered in these early skirmishes too much just yet. And Gen.G snowballing this game. Now, it's not a big enough lead to where we could say it's a done deal by any means.
Oh, absolutely not.
But it is certainly where you want to be if you're a Gen.G fan.
Yep. And remember, this is one of those compositions from Gen.G that is a little bit lacking in the damage department unless they get big advantages, right? And they have the beginnings of a big advantage if they can continue to snowball this one through. Of course, 13.5 minutes, only 1,500 gold as the Destiny comes on through here. Canyon in a lot of trouble as he flashes over the wall. The Impale going to be avoided as Keen looking to try and duel Doran here, but it's a lot of damage out from Guma to help the Rek'Sai pick up the kill. And a flash hook! And it's going to be both of these top laners going down. The bailout not quite going to work here as the Impale comes through at the same time. Gumayusi is on the warpath, but so is Chovy. Finds the overextended Varus, and now it's Ona throwing chains around, but they are not going to do anything. And the counterpunch from Gen.G just a bit better.
Now Ruler just going to grab a plate here in the mid lane as well. We'll push another wave in that no one can answer. And this is not the kind of composition, I think, T1, that you want to be scrapping with under turret in these situations. As Canyon is so incredibly tanky, even though he is isolated here, it takes forever to take this pick out. Like, now you're really committed in. Like, as T1, you can't just go, oh, well, I guess we'll let it go. You have to commit in and try to look for Keen, because the rotation is coming. The wraparound is coming. Doran is able to avoid turret aggro there with his ultimate, gets the kill there. But then, Duro.
Oh my god, Duro.
He's just insane on this pick. The bailout buys some time here. They're not able to get the reset, unfortunately, for T1. Owner gets into the backline there, but it's the ult there to come through the Petrifying Gaze from Chovy that helps lock down these final 2 kills. It's a massive trade-up for Gen.G again. And the Kalista that's pushing mid lane, also a benefactor of this.
Yeah, 3-0-2, and is able to get a bunch of plate money in that mid lane. So was actually down a decent chunk of farm, has kind of evened that up just a little bit here. Gumayusi still holding a bit of an advantage. So this Varus is still on track to being scary, but hasn't got any kills himself just yet. As T1 looking for this Rift Herald, Gen.G with full information about that happening. See whether they can actually get in a position to contest. As Canyon gonna drive on in, gets himself over the wall. It will be a 50-50, but it's Ona that wins it. Duro still hunting, looking for a bit of a target. Hostile takeover comes in as Ona goes golden. Keen right in amongst it. The double knock-up from Doran's fantastic. He's being bailed out as well as Keen somehow survives. There is no way that he should be allowed to do that, and down goes Ona. Once again, every team fight is just Gen.G all the way.
Yeah, and T1 feel priced into these. They feel like they're behind. They do not want to just give up every objective, especially when you consider this mid turret is so low already. This is going to go over to Gen.G. They cannot find a hook angle here, though.
Yeah, the Destiny is going to come down. They're going to look for Canyon, or at least look to tell him to leave. As he gets a fair bit of rock value. How's the hook onto Faker? Duro finds another one! And the attempted bailouts, but it's just too expensive. He's not leaving the police station this time. Down goes another kill, and it's a double for Ruler, making 5-0-4 now.
And a moment ago, I said it's the lead you're looking for Gen.G, but it's not enough to say it's a done deal. I think it is now. Watch this fight here. This is exactly the type of scrappy fight that Gen.G wants. You got the Herald. Good luck getting the eye. Owner goes in here with the Blitzcrank ultimate. Then in goes Golden. Also, by the way, Guma gets hooked in all of this and ends up losing half his health bar here. Doran bleeds out, and Chovy, is he caught or is he killing him?
He's killing him and caught. He's both. He's doing it. He's poisoned both of them. Doran is dealing with so many of these minions. Canyon's making his way over. Scorpion and Snake, they're both very scary, and they are just going to leave. So thankfully, if you do find yourself face to face with a Snake or a Scorpion, walk away.
Or call Atlas.
Walk away.
He's very acquainted with those species where he's from.
We do have a few of those. There are less scorpions in Australia, but we do have some.
This angle here from Duro. Watch this.
Yep. Oh my.
He's like, I got him. And like the angle made it almost look like he missed, but he's just gets him there just on the edge. And then they get slow from the Q here from the Skarner. Canyon helps him take it out, and this is just Ruler running away with this game, and then Chovy in the 1v2 down here at this moment. Ends up getting knocked up, but like, watch the damage come through on the door, and it's actually crazy. He needs help. And finally, Owner shows up, gets the stolen ultimate here.
He just runs so fast.
Like, he
slithers so fast.
He's so fast that like Owner can't actually find the angle to ult him back. And this is Gen.G grabbing another dragon here. It's Mountain Soul with the Cassante in the tank.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, if it's a triple mountain with Cassante Skarner, I think we're just calling it.
I think, like, are we calling it now? I'm almost ready to. This is.
I mean, I think we are biased towards Silver Scrapes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to work out, like, how much should we? Because this game. Like, you can see it at the top of your screen, right? 3-13, doesn't look great. 7,000 gold lead, one of the biggest that we've seen pre-20 minutes.
Chovy is 2 levels up without his Rod of Ages.
Yeah. This is the Chovy that we were promised.
Like, look at Faker's XP bar, everyone at 12. Chovy's about to hit 14, and in just a second, he's going to hit 15.
Oh my.
This is actually kind of an unprecedented lead.
Yeah, what? How is it? How is this without...
Without Otacon, that's right.
How is it without Otacon and without Rod of Ages? Like, that is... What?
He is 50 CS ahead.
Oh, that might have something to do with it.
Like, the observers are watching.
Yeah, like, how does he do this?
He will be 3 levels ahead. Okay, now will he be caught by this TP?
And will this TP be enough? As now Faker trying to get on top of him. Duro is in position as Keen teleports in as well. The flash out of the way, the hostile takeover, and Gen.G not going to be losing their mid laner in this instance, but they do manage to get the ult and the flash.
Ruler just pushing mid, and T1 need to rotate over to save it. Duro looking for an angle here to potentially catch a single target on T1's rotation.
This is the most dangerous part, is trying to travel to different places.
Don't tempt fate, Carrier.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Ruler able to do a fair bit of damage here, as Doran also going to get slowed down.
I mean, the carries are so fed here for Gen.G that, like, even when you catch them, air quotes, they're like, no, I kill you, by the way, and they just start attacking you.
And look at all of this vision here towards this top side at the same time. In 12 seconds time, on the top side of the map, the Otacon is going to be spawning. You thought that we had some level discrepancies earlier on. That is only going to get exacerbated.
And, I mean, now here, where do you go as T1? You have to come over to this Otacon where there's a Blitzcrank lurking somewhere, looking to kill whoever checks. That checker
and no one can check!
Yeah, exactly. It's Carrier on Renata. He's like, I'm so scared. Duro's like, I'm waiting for you.
Yep.
Here you are.
There he is, special delivery, and he will get some extra time with the bailout, but not very much. Chains of Corruption come in. That is an attempted steal opportunity here, but just slammed against the wall. The Otacon getting amongst it at the same time, and that is going to be Otacon secured by Canyon. He gets a casual kill at the same time. Double over to Ruler, and now Faker finds the gold card. Hook is going to miss, but the Twisted Fate surviving does not help. The T1 fans feel better about this game.
Yeah, I think Gen.G fans are saying, I'll see you in 5.
Yep.
I think we could say Gen.G won the early game this time for the first time in this series with a 9,500 gold lead here. Now at 20 minutes. I mean, we're past the early game now, but they took the early game lead and they snowballed it. As we predicted this, because it's so obvious, the Carrier has to go in and check. He's burst first. And then the follow-up here, it's a really nice ult here, but it doesn't matter because the Impale comes through. The Ren comes out quite early from Ruler, but it doesn't matter. They get the smite because the Sylas is dead, and Guma is just left alone. And then Faker's able to at least avoid the hook, but that is all you could say. Then the positive column for T1 as Gen.G look to set up on
my, another one! Duro, it's, okay, from now on, every single game, teams, they need to ban Blitzcrank. Even, he hasn't even been prioritizing this champion, he's so good at it.
I mean, like, Carrier was the guy who caught aiming.
1-0-15.
I think aiming's feeling a little bit better. Carrier has to be the one to check, right? But
yeah,
like, you're playing without into Blitzcrank, which is why this is such a great pick from ahead. And that's why I said in the draft, I'm like, this is such a confident pick from Gen.G. Like, the draft was so risky, but they were confident they could pilot it. They were confident they could pull it out. And they certainly did, right? Like, this was match point on the line, LCK finals on the line.
Well, Duro's going to get a flash as he wanders on over. Trophy going to get ganked by multiple people. Petrifying gazes all over the place. But Gumayusi gets the shutdown, and an important one at that. 1,100 gold.
Plus,
they will trade their inhibitor turret for it.
Yeah, maybe some bounty gold picked up here, but this turret's so healthy. They have no wave. Canyon helps clear out the rest of that. So no inhibitor to go down, but the inhibitor turret does fall. T1 get the kill and the shutdown, but not that gold.
Can Canyon be damaged? Okay, maybe he can now as the Destiny coming in on top of everything. Gumayusi starting to get some shots over as Canyon just drives his way out. Gumayusi still hunting for it. He flashes into the enemy base, gets impaled. Now he's in turret range. Duro comes over and Canyon, yeah, he's a tank.
I get it. Guma knew the game was over. You gotta try something. I mean, you gotta try something.
That's called reading the room, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, he almost got him. You've got game 5. It's okay.
You know, yeah.
But as it turns out, he answered your question. Can Canyon be damaged?
No.
He cannot be damaged.
Not really. Not enough. As Duro, he can be damaged. Gold card going to connect, but it looks like they're a little bit afraid of what could be lurking in the dark.
By the way, he still doesn't have his second Mountain Drake yet, nor a Mountain Soul.
Oh no.
Imagine how little damage they will do to him after that, as this is, by the way, if there was going to be a contest, which there wouldn't be, you have to fight through Ren stacks and Smite.
Yeah, no, you're not going to, it's not a 50-50 in this case. So the Mountain Drake will be taken down. And Wolf, you know what, it's actually kind of crazy. This is kind of a beautiful juxtaposition of what happened in Game 4 in the T1 versus DK series. But it was the other side, right? It was an absolute blowout. I like this version more because T1 can come back in Game 5 and try and turn it around. Side selection will be theirs in that situation.
The difference in the game state, too, is that the Smolder was kind of completely online, and then one hook had to be the miracle to save the game. Now it's just Duro hooking whoever he wants, and it doesn't matter. They won the early game. That Varus is not online, as we saw in the base.
Canyon almost okay, just finds the impale onto Gumayusi somehow! And obviously he's going to survive with over a third health. Yes, reading the room. I'm going to try and read the room as well.
I'm like, you and I wanted Game 5, and we get our wish.
Yes. This is going to be the inner turret taken down here. Without Gumayusi, there is not a way to defend.
I mean, I was already, like, at the beginning of this game, I was trying to do the Faker flexibility narrative. Like, he's playing TF, he was ready to play the Silas. I thought this was likely to be Gen.G failing in another early game because their early games looked so weak, Canyon looked so weak, but this has been his best game we've seen in playoffs.
Yeah,
he's 19 out of 20.
Oh god, another hook! And it even caught Jonas Strong by surprise as Doran just goes down. Ona now dancing around behind the Baron pit, but Keen, he's a bouncer. He's going to try and stop him. Ona might be able to get in, but it's not going to be the steal. It's somehow Cassiopeia that actually gets it as the hook finally won. I see it miss. Good sidestep there from Carrier. Does it matter? No. No, it doesn't at all.
No.
He's still dead. He's going to buy a bit of time. That was such a cute flash. Such a cute flash. As Canyon going to pick up Faker, throw some rocks at him. Ruler looking to bounce his way over. And will be able to get in range. The Blast Cone is going to be able to buy a little bit of extra space.
Carrier is still running away, by the way, in the top.
Oh, okay. Well, Keen will find him. So there we go. Bought some time.
Yeah.
Things are getting a little silly here, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, okay, so let's talk about, I don't even want to talk about these play. We'll talk about one. Okay, this one little impale. Yeah, got him. This is actually the worst way to go to Game 5 if you're T1, because right, the series looked like you 3-0'd it, like you said. Game 1, you basically won the game, but then you ended up losing a one mistake, lost that one, but then you won 2 in a row. You're like, I'm way better than Gen.G. I'm on match point now. Then you have to play this game out where there's no chance. There's like no chance, there's no way back in. Like Owner's going for this Hail Mary, good moment for his Hail Mary in the base, because you know you're 10,000 gold behind. We're going to game 5, and it's just like Gen.G are slash dancing on you as we go to Silver Scrapes. Momentum is completely Gen.G's now in this series. Did this with Red Side, the Kalista pick worked a treat. I wanted to say I trusted them for the confidence in it, but I thought maybe we were just going to end here and Gen.G say no. Ruler 8-0-8 on his iconic Kalista.
And for me, this whole game is just Duro. This guy on this Blitzcrank, just incredible. I think that Canyon has come back alive, Chovy's come back alive, but Duro is just a man possessed on this robot. Let's see whether he can find another hook as they do get the knock-up onto Ruler. Take him down immediately. The Impale is only onto 1. Chovy still there for the DPS, but T1 finding kill after kill as Chovy, oh, the handshake is fantastic. Owner is going to get taken down, but they take out the Cassiopeia. Can Canyon be damaged? Is still a question that we're all asking, and Gumayushi, he might be able to answer it. He does have the bailout, and as it turns out, no, he cannot be damaged. Canyon is immortal. He finds more rocks, and now he's just gonna get to work, trying to use this lawnmower to take down Faker, not the Nexus. All 3 of them weren't enough, and the Scorpion will bring us to Silver Scrapes.
Canyon's got a heart of steel at the end of this game. Gets the kill on Guma, the snipe just before. And maybe Canyon was absent in this one for most of it, but he said he is not just going to let T1 take his spot and Inspire away. He and Duro getting the carries fed in this one.